Good afternoon. Thank you for joining me. This is late breaking news. 12 minutes ago, it was reported that Charlie Kirk has been shot while he was at a university event. I want to click straight over to this live feed. We have people that are calling. Report on this. Let me see if I can get this to all work out. There we go. Got that muted. Bear with me. It's coming. Internet's slow.
Charlie Kirk was there speaking today. We have a witness joining us on the phone. This is Taylor Birmingham from the campus of UVU. Taylor was there as the shot was fired. Taylor, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Tell us what you saw, what you experienced today.
It was just shortly after he had started his second speech. Everything was going great. Everyone was, getting along and happy and everything. And then we just heard one shot. It didn't sound like it was a very high caliber. It sounded like a smaller one. But my wife immediately fell, but I saw him, and he definitely got shot. It looked like roughly in between his neck and like his collarbone area or somewhere in the neck.
Taylor,
what it looked like, but there was a lot of blood.
Taylor, can you set up the scene for us inside the arena where that speech was taking place as this was happening? What can you tell us about what was going on around you?
Everything was great. Everybody was getting along, and there was two crowds there that were from a different perspective or view that were screaming and yelling a lot, but besides that, everybody was getting along. It was great. I mean, we all love Charlie. He's amazing.
What happened immediately after you heard that sound? I imagine it was pretty chaotic.
It was very chaotic, yeah. The biggest fear was my wife first, but there was a whole lot of just fear and sadness, and
Sure.
mass
Sure.
destruction. I guess everybody just freaking out, trying to take care of their own, and we're all trying to help everyone else. Everybody hunkered together, and we got out of there safe. So.
And I'm sorry, Taylor, was it an outdoor event?
Yes, it was.
It was an outdoor event. We're looking now at video posted on social media. You can feel the chaos that Taylor described. We're talking to Taylor Birmingham. He was one of those spectators in the audience with his wife when shots were fired and chaos ensued.
Taylor, tell us about how many people do you think were there for this speech, for this event outdoors?
Oh, there were hundreds. Like he even mentioned, it's one of his biggest crowds. I would say there was at least 2,000 to 3,000, maybe more.
But a couple of times you've referenced sort of a calm atmosphere. We know there was some controversy surrounding this particular event, this speaker specifically, but you described the crowd as pretty well-mannered up to this point?
Absolutely, yeah. Besides, there was a couple of groups that were not well-mannered at all, and any topic or anything that was brought up, they were shouting like F Charlie, and they were shouting, like anything against any religion or anything. They were screaming and yelling and booing.
Did you notice a significant police presence?
Police presence?
Yeah, during the speech, during the event?
Yeah. The police were absolutely amazing during this. They were absolutely incredible and jumped right into action. I say thanks to every one of them.
And Taylor, as this event was going on, or prior to him, to the speaker coming on and giving the talk, was there any mention about security or conduct, anything like that?
I don't. Not that we kind of came in like right as it was starting, so I guess we wouldn't have heard any of that. But.
And you said the two groups that got a little unruly. Do you know where they were located? It seems you were facing the stage. The crowd was facing the stage, and it was a large group. It was a large crowd. Could you tell where those protesters were stationed or set up?
Yeah, there was some that were. I actually have video of showing when they were screaming and yelling. And they were right above us up on the balcony, and I turned my camera and looked at them, and then looked over at the other crowd as well. One crowd was more closer to like directly in the line of where that could have came from by chance. The others were not. The others were behind him.
Yeah, hard to tell, obviously, in moments like that when the crowds are
Yeah,
big and the sounds are
You just
echoing and
never know,
bouncing off. Interesting to note that the levels that you described there with spectators watching from a heightened vantage point as well. Taylor Birmingham, thank you so much. We appreciate you jumping on the line with us and sharing your experience. Glad you're safe, glad you're okay, and thank you for sharing your experience.
Thank you.
Senator Mike Lee posting a tweet in the last half hour saying, quote, "I am tracking the situation at Utah Valley University closely. Please join me in praying for Charlie Kirk and the students gathered there."
We're showing you kind of a repeat of a video posted on social media, and social media is lighting up right now, as you might imagine. Charlie Kirk was the scheduled speaker at UVU today. He's an American right-wing political activist, an author, a media personality. There was a lot of attention given toward this particular speech.
Yeah. It sounds like we are getting some witness accounts that we want to make sure that you're aware of. Are we going to...
We have Jason. He's a former officer. He's joining us on the phone. He was just 5 feet away from this event when it happened. Jason, thank you. Obviously, you have a professional eye on a situation like this as well. Were you working today or just there to observe?
No, I was just there to have fun and immerse myself in Mr. Kirk's dialogue. I had retired from the law enforcement back in June. I was just there having fun.
Yeah, describe to us what you saw.
Well, after the first speaker, there was somebody that came up. I forgot what she was asking about, and about halfway through her first her first question, I heard a shot come out, and I looked directly over at Charlie, and he kind of fell backwards into the chair, and just all of his Secret Service guy, I don't know if they're Secret Service or whatever, they all climbed on top of him and rushed him out, and then I started doing gang control. I was like, hey, get out of here, get out. You guys got to get out of here.
Your instincts kicked in, no doubt. So he wasn't speaking.
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk wasn't speaking, but was seated on the stage.
He was seating on the stage at the time the shot rang out, yes.
So, Jason, with your background in law enforcement, tell us what you noticed as far as the law enforcement presence there. Did it seem like there was heightened security?
They had a lot of security people. They had undercovers in the audience that I saw after the fact that had their weapons drawn, looking for a suspect and stuff like that. He obviously had his own security detail, but as far as uniform officers, yeah, I was talking to some of them underneath the bridge there where Charlie Kirk was coming out. I was talking to some of them, and yeah, it looked pretty safe to me.
Yeah. Well, we mentioned your instincts kind of jumping in, and your sharp eye took in a lot. We're seeing video now of a suspect who was arrested. It would appear that happened fairly quickly. Can you describe what happened after those shots rang out?
So there was only one shot that I heard, the one shot, and I did see that same guy in a blue shirt in handcuffs over by the was it the north side of the complex where it was. So I did see that same guy in custody. I don't know if that was a shooter or not, but it sounded like the shooter was pretty close to the front row.
Yeah. How would you describe the mood prior to that shot?
Oh, the mood prior, before everything happened? It was absolutely amazing. The crowd was very cheerful, very positive. It was doing just like a normal Charlie Kirk rally.
Yeah.
And
Have you attended one before?
Started off on a good foot. We had the first person come in and talk and did very well, and then they moved on, and then the second person came in, and that's when the shot rang out.
Jason, had you attended any one of his events before? Any of his speeches before?
No, I had tried to get in one time, but I had missed it. So, no, this was the first Charlie Kirk one that I've been to.
Well, Jason, we appreciate it. Thank you for jumping on the line with us. That's Jason, a retired law enforcement officer who was there as just a spectator taking in this Charlie Kirk speech, this event at Utah Valley University. And you can see through these social media videos just how quickly it became a chaotic scene.
Vice President J.D. Vance reacted to the shooting by posting on X, quote, "Say a prayer for Charlie Kirk, a genuinely good guy and a young father."
Charlie Kirk is a 31-year-old American right-wing political activist. He's an author. He's a media personality. And there was a lot of attention around this speech and this event. This video is the newest that we've seen. Of course, social media being flooded right now with different accounts and videos. But this shows the man in the blue shirt that you heard Jason describe that was taken into custody, it would appear fairly quickly, and escorted off by a group of officers.
And Jason had mentioned that he heard at least one shot, but prior to that shot, he says it was, not a lot of really going on, nothing that would lead him to believe something of this magnitude would happen. This was his first time attending this type of event. In speaking to our prior caller, someone who was there, Taylor, he said about 2,000 to 3,000 people were there. And then as we saw from video there, things got very chaotic.
We're now receiving confirmation that Charlie Kirk was the individual shot at this event at Utah Valley University today. Turning Point USA confirming that that is a company owned by Charlie Kirk, so we can take that as reputable information. It's what everyone assumed. Now we can confirm. We don't have an exact timeline. Obviously, this is just unfolding in the moment. However, we're told that the shot rang out during the first speech. Charlie Kirk himself had not even taken the podium. He was seated on the stage, and someone was introducing him when that shot went out.
As you can imagine, we are getting several reaction on social media. FBI Director Kash Patel had this to say about the situation, posting on X, quote, "We are closely monitoring reports of the tragic shooting involving Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University. Our thoughts are with Charlie, his loved ones, and everyone affected. Agents will be on the scene quickly, and the FBI stands in full support of the ongoing response and investigation." And again, if you are just joining us, Turning Point Academy, Charlie Kirk's company, has confirmed that he was, in fact, the person shot at Utah Valley University today.
The video you're seeing, of course, is very chaotic, but prior to this, spectators describe it as a fairly calm event. There were a couple of pockets of people that were shouting out at various points during the event, but other than that, it was a fairly calm scene. Police presence was heavy. It was expected to have kind of a high scrutiny, a high visibility, this type of event, and then certainly the speaker. So there was police presence, and also Charlie Kirk. We've been told that it was assumed he brought his own security detail as well. But prior to this moment, things were going quite smoothly.
And it looks like we have another witness on the phone with us who was there. Jeff Johnson, I understand you are a faculty member.
I just want to know, with all of this security and stuff, how did somebody get in with a damn gun? This infuriates me.
Member there at Utah Valley University. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Jeff, thanks for joining us. Give us a perspective. What exactly happened? What can you tell us? Describe those moments.
Yeah, so we were kind of up above them in a similar location to where some of the videos that are circling around are from. And there's just a really loud boom, loud enough that, I still got ringing in my ear and feel a little bit deaf in that ear. But I thought it might have been a firework. It was that loud. So people started scrambling, running around. I was kind of looking around for smoke. And it wasn't until I looked down and I saw them on top of Charlie Kirk that I kind of realized what was happening, and was able to see them pick him up and carry him out by his limbs. So at that point, kind of realized what was going on, and we got out of there. It seemed like undercover officers started kind of revealing themselves and telling us to get out of the area. But that was kind of it. It took about, unfortunately, like 30 minutes to get any notification from the school to get out of there, and about 45 minutes before they told us to get off of campus. But that's kind of what's happened from my perspective.
Yeah, the area had already cleared, I imagine, long before that. As a faculty member there, can you tell us about the temperament toward this event?
He must have been really close to that person that shot Charlie Kirk for his ear to be ringing like that, because the other man said that it didn't even sound like that loud of a shot. So it was probably a smaller caliber type of a weapon, he was assuming. So that's interesting. He must have been really hella close.
they would say things and boo here and there, but overall it seemed very supportive of what was going on.
And with the tiers, the levels, when events are held out here, obviously this was a big crowd, but are they typically occupying those balconies and those enclaves?
I've not personally seen anything to this scale
Yeah.
before, so I wouldn't be able to relate it to anything.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we appreciate your insight, Jeff. Thank you so much for joining us and jumping on with us for our call. Now, we are getting some more witness accounts of folks who were there on scene. Can you tell me the name of the caller, please?
We don't have a caller at the moment, Tamara.
I do want to mention, though, Brooke, I'm just reading this now. President Trump has just addressed the shooting on his social media site, Truth Social, saying, quote, "We must all pray for Charlie Kirk, who has been shot. A great guy from top to bottom. God bless him."
We're hearing a number of reactions like that on social media. The latest from President Trump, as Tamara said. J.D. Vance also responded. Some of our local leaders responding as well. It was a very chaotic scene, as you're seeing, and social media reacting real time. There were upwards of 2,000 to 3,000 people there, is the best estimate we can get from those on the ground. And all of those people flooding social media with their experiences, their pictures, and their videos.
Yeah, and based on one witness account, we understand there was a speaker that had just gone out. Charlie Kirk hadn't even spoken yet. And so we're taking a look right now on your screen here. We're getting more video of Utah Valley University at this speaking event right before the shooting. One witness had just told us on the phone here that he heard one shot rang out almost as if it was a loud boom, a firework, a firecracker.
Response was immediate. Charlie Kirk did hit the ground, we're told, and security detail appeared to immediately protect him, climb on top of him, and you imagine how quickly people then scattered just as a result of that single shot, that single sound. But we're told the police presence was quite significant, both uniformed police officers, but also those who jumped into action after this particular event, helping to clear the area, helping to get people to safety. So the response itself seems to be pretty quick.
Yeah, an earlier video showed too that there was a person that has been arrested that was being escorted. We haven't gotten confirmation rather that a suspect is in custody, but that's the part of the video that we have been seeing, that someone in fact has been arrested.
Yeah, we have told the suspect was in custody, and we're seeing now the video there of the man in the blue shirt. And spectators say that attention immediately went to this individual. Obviously, it's hard in a situation like that with a crowd of that size to determine where certain sounds come from or how those sounds reverberate or bounce around the area. But one individual we talked to, Jason, he was a retired law enforcement officer, so he had a sensibility that was quite heightened in unusual ways because of his law enforcement training. He noticed police officers immediately, he said, going toward this individual in the blue shirt, and he was shortly thereafter led off the campus.
Well, this is a breaking news situation, so we are getting information pouring in as well as video, what you're seeing here. We do want to talk to another witness that was there at Utah Valley University to get her account. Can you tell us your name, please?
Hi, my name's Haley Westmoreland. I'm here with Mia Callister. We were both at the school at the shooting.
Okay, Haley and Mia?
Taylor, yes.
Haley, can you tell us what did you see and what did you hear? What happened?
So we ended up getting there late, and we were coming in behind where he was speaking. And so in some of the videos, you can see that building, and that's where we were. And we just had walked in and heard the shot, and everyone turned, and they just started running and screaming. They were just screaming, "Shooter, shooter, run." People were crying, and...
Can you kind of describe what the mood was like there before you heard those shots, before things broke out?
It was so mellow, and then as we were walking out the door so mellow, you could just hear the gunshot, and automatically hundreds of kids were running, screaming, "Shooter, shooter, run, run, run." And as you ran through the halls, every single person just started running. You could feel it. They were crying.
So people scattered both inside buildings and outside, just trying to clear the area as quickly as possible.
Yeah. There were just crowds of people trying to get out as fast as they could.
Well, Taylor and Mia, thank you so much for sharing your account. We're glad you're safe, and we appreciate you sharing your experience with us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We can now confirm Charlie Kirk was the individual shot on UVU campus. It was a highly promoted speech that was scheduled for this morning. Charlie Kirk, of course, an American right-wing political activist. He's an author. He's a media personality. You can see now from this UDOT camera the congestion of traffic as people obviously try to leave the area. It cleared pretty quickly, obviously, after that happened, but now cars and vehicles backed up a little bit on University Parkway as people try to leave that scene.
Yeah, this is
And apparently he was getting ready to make a speech about this whole trans bunch of woke shit. And I guarantee you it was some woke crazed individual that did this. Like, I just hate this. I absolutely hate this for him. I'm glad that nobody else was injured, but I really hate this for him. I'm going to bump ahead a little bit in this live feed that we're watching here.
But we don't have a current update on the condition of Charlie Kirk.
That's right, yeah, and I haven't heard anything myself either, and I haven't seen any of those videos yet myself. We were down at another event in the Pacey Santaquin area when we got the word, from our news desk about what happened and to try to get there as quickly as we could. So I'm still catching up on the information that has been released at this point, but it's a sad day. No matter which side you're on, no matter which side you believe,
Yeah.
We're working on that right now. We're getting close, and somebody's trying to talk to me.
You're okay, Alex.
Okay,
but
I'll go.
Yep, we should be able to get on television here pretty quickly.
Thank you, Alex. We'll look forward to your on-the-ground report here momentarily. That's Alex Cabrero on his way to the campus of Utah Valley University, where Utah now becomes a central focus as the world, the nation watches this situation unfold. We've talked about the attention this particular event had received, although those on the ground tell us and have been telling us all afternoon that the mood was very calm and peaceful prior to what you're seeing now through these social media events. There were a few pockets of protesters. One bystander identified the location of those bystanders as being elevated as in up a level, looking down on this crowd. It's an outdoor venue kind of centralized to the campus, and estimations put the crowd at 2,000 to 3,000 people. So it was packed. It was a really full area, full venue, and relatively calm until this very moment.
Charlie Kirk, a popular political activist. Just to give you some background on him, 31-year-old conservative activist, a father of two. He helped found Turning Point USA. That's a nonprofit that deals with conservative youth on school campuses. He is well known among at least traveling to college campuses across the country. A well-known supporter of President Donald Trump, a close ally of many in his circle. In fact, he spoke at the 2024 presidential convention.
I'm going to mute that for a moment. I want all of us to take a moment right now, because time is precious, for Charlie, and send him your healing energy, send him your strength, put shields of protection around him. Send him all of your healing love, all of your healing energy, and send strength to his wife and his parents and everyone else close to him. Give them the faith that they need to know that he is going to survive. We can all help him to get through this.
To have him in custody.
And we know that KSL news specialist Alex Cabrero is on his way to the Utah Valley University campus, hopefully to get us another perspective a little bit closer to campus. But as we just saw from video, lots of cars there right now, pretty much a traffic jam. So as we mentioned, information, it is coming in as we're showing you another live picture there from our UDOT camera there, right off of University Parkway near the campus. It looks like traffic there at a standstill, but several emergency vehicles out there right now as we kind of piece together all of this information. Again, again 31-year-old Charlie Kirk shot on the UVU campus earlier today.
This was a highly publicized event. There was some criticism, there was some concern about the crowd it may draw, but the crowd this afternoon was described as peaceful. You can see there that tent, that's Charlie Kirk seated beneath it, shaded from the noon sun, wearing that white t-shirt. He had not even spoken yet. He was being introduced or was preparing to speak, preparing to give his remarks when this happened. There was someone at the podium that had opened the event, that had set things in motion when a single shot, we're told, rang out, and the crowd quickly started to react and disperse. Someone telling us people ran inside buildings, near neighboring buildings, as of course you can see an outdoor venue there on the campus of Utah Valley University. So crowd scattering as quickly as they could to get to safety. Yeah,
Brooke, you and I spoke to several witnesses that were there on the ground, just talking about, moments before they heard the shot. It was a fairly calm event, no, concern about safety whatsoever. Although we know, like, leading up to the event, it was very highly publicized. Estimation of about 2,000 to 3,000 people there on the ground. Yeah, bystanders described a couple of pockets of individuals. One identifying those individuals crying out or yelling out or shouting out as being positioned in the upper balconies. And you can see, this venue is so unique in that it's outdoors, obviously, so a vast kind of sprawling, there's not a defined perimeter, so to speak, but you can see pockets of people on the tiers, on the balconies, on the enclaves. This post you're seeing, obviously not current. This is a previous post from Charlie Kirk stating that how excited he was to be at UVU today. This just in from Senator John Curtis. He said, "My heart goes out to Charlie, those in attendance and their families. We're praying for his safety and the well-being of everyone impacted." Lots of local leaders and national political leaders, too, taking to X, taking to social media to share their well wishes. Yes, and we also heard from Governor Cox that they are definitely looking into this investigation, talking to officials there on scene. So as you can imagine, the information is just continuing to pour in. We are getting new video and hopefully getting some more folks who were there on the ground willing to give us their accounts. Again, as we mentioned, KSL News Specialist Alex Cabrero is on his way there to the scene to Utah Valley University as well. We heard a couple bystanders immediately praising the reaction from law enforcement. And of course, our current climate demands a presence of security and attention to politically oriented events like this. But a couple different witnesses we spoke to praising the reaction of law enforcement on the ground. It took about 30 minutes, we were told, for UVU to officially send out a text or a notice to clear the campus, although at that point, of course, as you might imagine, people had cleared the area and it had been cleared for quite a while. We also heard from Vice President J.D. Vance as well, offering his condolences. We also heard from FBI Director Kash Patel, who, quote, said, "Our thoughts are with Charlie, his loved ones, and everyone affected." Patel also wrote on X that agents will be on scene quickly, and the FBI stands in full support of the ongoing response and investigation. So in addition to the local police enforcement who are there, as well as the private security detail of Mr. Kirk, the FBI is going to be investigating. It was Turning Point USA that first officially confirmed it was Charlie Kirk that had been shot. Of course, that was immediate suspicion, just based on the event and the featured prominence of this particular speaker. Charlie Kirk serves as the executive director of Turning Point USA, so his own company confirming about 20 minutes ago that he was shot. Bystanders telling us a single gunshot is all they heard, though they described it as a firework popping. Someone saying his ear was still ringing after hearing and experiencing that sound. Okay, we want to go right now to KSL's Alex Cabrero, who has made his way to Utah Valley University. Alex, what can you tell us right now?
That's right. Yeah, we just got here on campus to one of the parking lots. And as we mentioned just a little bit ago when we were talking to you over the phone, is that there were a lot of students and people trying to leave the area, a lot of students and people also trying to come in to be a part of this, just to kind of witness this for themselves, to be a part of this. Of course, Charlie Kirk, a very popular activist, a very popular speaker who's been going to campuses all across the country, encouraging debate on either side, on both sides, just trying to spread the message and the word of what he wants people to hear
here and hear kind of the other side of the story often. Join me here now is Brendan. He's one of the people who was here when all this happened. Now, Brendan is not a student here. He came all the way from Clearfield just to be a part of this and to see this. And Brendan, you were telling me you were right there when this happened.
Yeah, so I mean, it was pretty packed when I got here. It took me about 30 minutes just to find parking. When I finally got there, there were thousands of people, I would say. He was kind of like in a pit almost, and we were kind of gathered up like some stairs. I kind of moved my way closer. I was about 15 feet away. He was actually talking about mass shootings too, which is crazy, with the trans shooting that just happened recently with the trans shooter. And as soon as he got done answering the question, we heard a loud pop. He got hit in the left side of his neck and dropped. We all dropped. His security dragged him out of there, and we just ran. So, you know, it's crazy.
I can't imagine. This is probably terrifying. You're there just to hear the debate, to be a part of this. You hear the shot. You said you hit the ground.
Yeah, obviously, because at first we didn't know what it was. You know what I mean?
Right.
Once we figured it out, I was more angry, I would say, than terrified. You know, we hear all the time that we're the problem, we're the violent ones, we're the issue, and yet this is the second mass, like, shooting attempt on a political figure. First Donald Trump, now we have Charlie Kirk, but yet we're the problem. I don't know of any mass shootings that happened with Joe Biden. I don't know any of Obama. I don't know of any of the Democratic side. And I'm not trying to be that guy, but like, we got to come together. This is ridiculous. Whether you believe what he says or not, like, we got to stop all this nonsense.
Right, and absolutely, and it's one of those things too, you know, no matter what side you're on, we should be able to have debate openly without the violence, no matter what side you're on. It's very charged, it's very political right now.
Exactly.
But I like what you said, we should come together. This needs to stop, no matter what side.
Right, yeah, and I completely agree with that. You know, everything going on in the world, everything's so hostile now when it comes to political parties. Yeah. We got to stop all of this. You know, like I said, they blame us, we blame them. We got to stop and just come together. We got to have a political agenda and get them to turn us against each other like they are. And it's just what they want. We got to stop. Yeah. And because I wear the stuff I wear, people look at me like I'm a bad person. But I think I'm a good person. I don't care what you believe. As long as you're a good person, that's all I care about.
Brandon, thank you so much for your time. Sorry, because it's chilling. When you see the videos, it's chilling. Sorry you saw this, but I know you're probably heading out to figure out, you've been chatting with your friends, so it's just one of those things, just figuring out what next, Brendan.
Absolutely. We'll be all right.
Thank you for your time, man. I really appreciate you. So Brendan's story is one of several that we've been hearing just there, just to hear the debate, to be a part of this, and was there when the shot came out, and you heard Brendan say he hit the deck, he hit the ground, not sure what it was or where it came from, but immediately we saw some videos of people just starting to run, and there are people just, I mean, there are students here. Mark, if you take a look at the traffic, this is just some of the traffic line we have of people just trying to get out of the area but also come into the area. We've heard from UVU Public Safety and Orem Police to try to avoid the area if you can. There are some roadblocks in the area, but I mean, even just around here, just students milling around who were witnesses to this, trying to make sense of it, trying to come to terms with it. Whenever you deal with something, you know, like this, there's that adrenaline, and as it starts to go away, that adrenaline, you really do feel it. It's numbing. It's scary. It's all the emotions that you can imagine after witnessing something like this and being a part of something like this. And then, as you heard Brendan say, you could tell he's a big Trump fan, big right side, Make America Great Again hat. But even he says this is too much. And no matter what side you're on, we shouldn't be having this stuff. That's what Brendan says. And even he said it. It would be nice if we could come together. I don't know if this is going to be the spark that brings people together. We've seen countless examples of this throughout the country in recent years. And you wonder at what point do we realize enough is enough. So that's something we'll be chatting with students about, trying to get their perspectives on all of this. And as we gather more, we'll certainly pass it along to you.
Yeah, Alex, thank you. You characterized, I think, the raw emotion really well. And it is a sad day for us in Utah, but everyone across the country for all of the reasons that you described. This appearance was part of the American Comeback Tour. Charlie Kirk was expected to live debate people who would pose, you know, lines of thinking or questions. And so it was a live debate. More than 6,000 people did sign a petition protesting against his appearance. He was, interestingly enough, scheduled, I believe, to appear at Utah State University later this month as well. So he had plans to stop twice here in Utah as part of today's tour.
All right. Well, we want to get some insight from our colleague, Chris Bertram, a former police chief. Can you hear me, Chris?
Yes.
We appreciate your time with us on this tragic day. We want to talk a little bit to you about the venue where this is taking place, Utah Valley University. Viewers are looking at the video right now of Mr. Kirk in the tent, as well as about 2,000 to 3,000 people. Can you kind of talk a little bit about the law enforcement side of things when dealing with an event like this in this type of venue?
Yeah, when you have an event like this, I mean, you're going to, pull in a lot of resources. There's a lot of pre-planning to go to keep not just, Charlie Kirk and his people safe, but everybody attending safe. And so I would imagine that with the pre-planning that went on with the University Police, the Orem Police, Utah County, federal partners that may have also been involved with intelligence and securing the venue, I imagine that there was quite a bit of planning that went in to make sure that the entire day that he was on campus, everybody would be safe.
And Chris, one has to assume with an outdoor venue that provides some specific trickiness in terms of crowd containment and also security control.
It does. And it's one of those, again, going back to the planning, where the event is being held on campus. Are you securing the event, directly around him or including the buildings and other, open spaces? Because it does become, tricky. We are, our public campuses, there are, rules with regards to firearms there, and people may be allowed to bring firearms on there. If you are locking the area down, specifically with magnetometers, that again adds another, layer of security. But again,
what do you mean by that?
How you want to do and how you want to secure the venue.
Chris, elaborate on that. What do you mean locking it down with what?
Well, in some cases, we have secure venues where we're not going to allow anybody into the specific areas, kind of those rings of security. We may, have magnetometers and we may search bags and things like that as we get closer. But as you get further out, it may be a more open, movable. I mean, this is a campus. People are going to class. There's other things going on during the day that they may not want to interrupt for this one event.
That makes sense. And we've noted that a couple of bystanders who were on the ground level of this event, so in the grassy field just in front of the speaker's podium, they described kind of the chaos or the shouting out and ultimately the gunshot coming from upwards. Like there's levels that we're seeing.
I think it's a sad time in American history where we cannot even go to a public event without someone being worried of being shot. This is absolutely an outrage to me and a very sad, sad thing. I mean, this is ridiculous. Trump derangement syndrome has gone way too far.
On campuses where we're believing in the First Amendment, we've also got, it's a public campus, so the Second Amendment may apply. We may not want to impede on students and visitors, moving around the campus. On the other hand, if this is an event that we're going to secure that area, again, you're going to move further out and people may be restricted in how they move, which then, impedes on, the educational process and impedes on people's daily learning. We're not locking the campus down for the entire day during this event, it sounds like.
And I find myself thinking there's really only so much you can plan. Like, as you described, the detailed planning that is just ultimately required in a climate like ours, in a day like ours, there's only so much you can forecast and can foresee. And all of those variables become, potential safety pain points that unfortunately we're seeing play out today.
I agree with that somewhat, but I also disagree. We are, with an event like this, I imagine that there was a lot of security planning going on, a lot of intelligence planning going on. You're right. We can't predict, what we used to refer to as black swan events, things that you just couldn't imagine happening, and you can't lock that down. But there are a lot of things that can be done when we have things that are predictable. Even
that blood. Do you see the blood splatter? They're showing the actual scene of where he was sitting now. Look. Gosh. There was a puddle of blood on that table even. This is horrific.
Attended.
And Chris, while we cannot speak to the specificity of this particular security plan or execution, is there a point of security that you would like to see implemented more often at events like this, or something that people maybe aren't employing as often that you think would help boost security in outdoor venues specifically?
I think that, one, retrospectively, we always know a lot after events happen, and we tend to respond to that need. On the same time, we have a lot of lessons learned from the past, both here in Utah, nationally, internationally, that we put into practice. And I understand that we can't completely lock down, everything that, i.e. when the president comes to town, we lock down a lot. We keep those areas safe. That's probably not practical, with a situation with a guest speaker like him. But because of, the emotion going on, surrounding, again, Charlie Kirk and other people in similar on both sides, it does require us to be prepared and make sure that everything has been done. I do believe in this case that a lot of planning, a lot of right-minded peoples in collaboration went into planning this. Retrospectively, we're going to know, how that was and if there were any gaps.
Chris, before we let you go, I just wanted to ask you, for folks who may be at home watching this right now unfold on TV, or perhaps even who live near Utah Valley University, what happens now as far as our local law enforcement in this investigation? What are the next steps when something of this magnitude happens right here at home?
Right. This is a significant investigation that's going to impact all of Utah. I imagine that this is going to be methodical. Both, I mentioned University Police, Orem Police, Utah County Sheriffs, they're probably neighboring agencies. Federal agencies such as ATF and the FBI will definitely be involved, determining what the intent or motive was of the people involved. Were there more than one people? This is something that is not going to take hours. It's going to take days. And there's going to be a lot of effort put into this investigation.
All right, Chris Bertram, thank you so much for your insight and professional perspective. We always appreciate what you have to say and add. Local alerts going out to elementary schools in the area, prompting a shelter in place. Moms, dads, parents getting alerts as we speak, as security measures kind of unroll as a result of a shooting that happened at Utah Valley University. We can confirm Charlie Kirk was shot, as you've likely heard, expected to...
Well, personally, I don't think it's necessary for all of those shelter-in-place things for the schools and stuff, because this was clearly a targeted event. It's not like we've got people out on the loose just wanting to go willy-nilly on everybody. Let the kids come home from school.
Month at that campus. You're looking at a live look now, a live picture from Chopper 5, the aftermath of this morning's really unfortunate and tragic event.
And we have been showing you videos that have been circulating online of the event. And we actually have KSL's news specialist, Alex Cabrera, who's there on campus at UVU, who has been speaking to some of the folks who attended that event. Alex.
Yeah, just still a whole lot of shock and unbelievable sense of what happened. Why did this happen? There's you can still see the traffic here, people trying to leave campus right now as we speak, just because the investigation is beginning. The police, law enforcement, they would like to be able to screen those leaving the event, try to figure out exactly what happened. Did this one person that we hear is in custody, did that one person act alone? We're still trying to determine that ourselves. And we've been chatting with some people who have been here during this event, noticing what happened. Everybody just telling the stories, catching up and such. Joy, can I chat with you 1 second? We're just live on TV here. Hold on 1 second. But here is Kim, her daughter Bentley, and Wes. They were just here for the debate themselves. Not students here. You said you used to be a student here, but you didn't hear the shots, you said, Kim, but all of a sudden you saw people running. That had to be terrifying.
Yes, but we were heading to the event, and all of a sudden there were just a group of people just running down the hallway, and they're like, shots have been fired, there's gunshots, run, run, run. So I grabbed my daughter, and we just booked it out of there. It was scary because you don't know if it's real, if it's not, but you just have to go with your gut and get out of there. But it was scary. The adrenaline shot up through my body, and I chills, and just, we were freaking out.
Yeah, and you know, we always hear about this. This always happens somewhere else, but when it's happening right where you are, all of a sudden it's as real as it gets, and you freeze. What do you do?
I didn't really understand what was going on, and we just heard gun, and I was like, what's going on? So I tried to alert other people. My mom was like, Bentley, run. So we just ran and found the nearest door to exit out, and it was just terrifying. You get chills and like you kind of freeze, but you're like, I have to save my life and everything. So that's just, yeah, it was scary. It didn't feel real. Yeah.
And Mom, as her mom, we're hearing from a lot of parents who have students here. Their kids go to school here, terrified. You were with your daughter seeing this. It's not only yourself now, but you're thinking of your daughter.
Nobody should have to be afraid to take their kids and go to these kind of events. Nobody. I mean, I am so absolutely outraged that we didn't have better security and better everything, because this should never happen. This should never happen. As often as it has happened, they should be better at doing this by now. They should be getting really good at checking everybody's bags and patting them down or whatever they got to do to make sure that nobody is within the range of harming a group, an individual, anyone. This is absolutely ridiculous. Like, enough is enough. When does this stop? How many more people are going to have to be injured? We're not going to live our life in fear. We're not going to stop going and speaking out and listening to people that are. We have to make the police, the security detail, everyone involved more accountable for doing their damn job to make sure that the public remains safe.
So I can't really explain to you, but I was to the left of Charlie, super clear view, saw everything happen, heard the gunshot. I was the last one standing because I couldn't quite believe. I thought maybe it was a stunt. And then everybody fell to the ground. We all fell to the ground. I got pushed into some bushes. I stayed there. There was a lady with her elderly mom, and I said, is she okay? And she said she's okay. So we just kind of stayed in the bushes for a few minutes, maybe a minute and a half. And then a man said, go this way. And we went right where Charlie had come in and out. And I was right behind the police when they had the man in the handcuffs. And I was standing right there next to them as he was on his knees. And he said, I would say multiple times, but at least twice, just shoot me, just shoot me. And I videoed it, and I called him every name in the book that I could think of, which is probably not appropriate, but I was a shaken ball and mess. I'm still shaking, and I'm still crying. I love Charlie Kirk. He's awesome. And I pray for him and his family. And I pray for everybody that was here 100%. To witness this. It's awful, and I don't understand why we can't have something like this that is truly innocent. There were the non-believers, the ones that didn't like him, and that's fine. But to shoot him, he doesn't deserve this.
That's the part I keep hearing from a lot of people, too, is like, look, no matter what side you're on, this shouldn't happen.
Never, never, ever, never. And I will always help anyone. I don't care if they're a Democrat, Republican, conservative, it does not matter. And I asked a girl, hey, can you tell me what building this is? And she looked at my hat and she said, not with that fat hat. No way. And I was like, okay, well, that was rude, but whatever, to each their own. But it's sad. It's really sad, the America that we have today.
I don't know. People keep saying, how do we fix this? And you keep thinking, is this tragedy going to be the spark that gets us back together? Because
it better be.
Something is wrong.
Better be.
And we need to come together. But how?
I wish I had that answer. Oh gosh, that's the multi-billion-dollar question, isn't it? I wish I knew. Prayer. Pray. Stand up for your beliefs. Don't back down. Don't listen to the propaganda. Do your own research. Don't take one person's opinion as fact. Look into things for your own. I don't know.
I can still, you're still shaking.
I am.
I'm shaking just talking to you. But one thing that hit me when you were talking is you saw Charlie get shot.
Yes.
And then you were waiting because I think you don't know where it came from. You don't know how many people there are. You don't know what's going. That's terrifying.
Right, and like I said, I wasn't sure because he was literally talking about how many mass shootings from trans people. That's literally what they were talking about when it happened. And when I saw him get shot, I like I said, I was probably the only one standing still for a minute because I was like, what the heck just happened? I thought maybe it wasn't real. And unfortunately it was real.
Now you're leaving, you're trying to get out of here, but you're talking with people you probably never met before because that's how you cope. That's how this was a tragedy, and you were there.
Right.
You talk about it.
Right, and this lovely lady here, I just said pray as I didn't realize that you guys were the news. I just said pray for Charlie, and she said, "Are you okay?" I don't know her, and she gave me a hug, and and I thanked her again for the hug because that's how we need to be. Right. We need to be more loving and kind to our people.
Yes.
All of us. It doesn't matter the color of your skin or, your political background. It doesn't matter. We're human beings, we're Americans, and we should stand tall for each other.
Thank you for your time. I'm so sorry that you witnessed this and went through this. And I know the adrenaline is wearing down now, and that's where it really hits. But thank you for your time and sharing some of that.
You're welcome.
I appreciate your time.
My name's Elisa.
Elisa, I'm Alex. Thank you for your time.
Nice to meet
thank you so much. You said you want to put some green quick.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
So,
Elisa is a beautiful human being, and we need more of her in the world. Because she's right. It doesn't matter if you're Democrat, Republican, white, black, Asian, Mexican. It doesn't matter. We're all humans. We're part of the human family. Enough of all of this division and hate and violence. Enough of it. We should be able to wear our Make America Great hats and not get rude comments. And we should absolutely be able to take our children and go to public events without being afraid that somebody's going to be there with a gun and shoot. This is absolutely a tragedy. And I really hope that because it was Charlie Kirk, that it does light a fire under everybody's ass to make real change and make real protection and have that real human connection again that we all deserve.
Me wrong table there under that tent where people from the crowd would pose questions or challenges that then would play out in a live debate. That event had not even really gotten underway when this particular event happened. Charlie Kirk shot this morning on the campus of Utah Valley University.
All right, we want to check in with KSL News specialist Daniel Woodruff, who is also on campus. Daniel, we were just speaking with Alex Cabrero, and emotions, as you can imagine, running very high. Describe to us what you're hearing there on campus.
Yeah, definitely high emotions, Tamara and Brooke, and we'll talk to some other witnesses in just a minute. But first, I want to show you where we are. We are on the west side of the Utah Valley University campus, and as my photographer shoots in here, you can see the tent that says "Prove Me Wrong," and that is where Charlie Kirk was speaking when he was shot. And you can see behind there's an area where all of the spectators were gathered to watch his speech and to witness exactly what happened. I'm joined by 3 Utah Valley University students. This is Isaac. I'll start with you, Isaac, and you're from West Jordan, I understand.
Yeah.
You were in the crowd. Tell me what you saw.
We were just in the crowd, and you can hold it. Okay, yeah. We were just in the crowd, and we were just watching him do his debate. Nothing was crazy was going on. Wasn't any crazy topic he was talking about. And immediately, we were sitting next to each other. We just heard an immediate pop. We're like, what's going on here? And then after that pop, we just saw him in his neck. We saw him fall backward, blood shooting out of his neck, hit the floor, and we just had to bolt it out of there immediately. We got all soaked, running through the water. It was actually surreal. We didn't actually know what was going on. We just kind of were like, oh, like this might be like some skit. What is this? And we had no idea until everybody started running out of the way, and we're like, oh, this is one of those scenarios where you're actually in like a school shooting like position. You're like, holy then we got to get the hell out of here. So
yeah, how close would you say you were to where he was speaking?
Probably 20 feet, 20, 30 feet from where he's speaking. I actually personally saw him get shot. Everyone else was filming, and I was just sitting there just watching the debate, just seeing what was going on. And then I just immediately hear a pop, see him get shot in the neck, blood come out of him, and then he just hit the floor. And then I just take these guys, and we just run out of there.
Chris, I wanted to ask you for your perspective as well. Were you in similar position, kind of watching?
I was just right by him, and we were watching. It was kind of hard to see because everyone was like standing up. And I thought it initially was a firecracker, like a loud firecracker. Some people do dumb stuff all the time, and then no, we just saw him fall to the ground, and then we all just booked it. We ran, and it was crazy experience.
When you found out that he had been shot, and that as information trickled out, because now UVU has confirmed that he was shot, what did you think?
I thought it was super surreal because UVU is a nice place. It's a very good place. I thought that would more happen in more crime city type of places, not at UVU, Utah. But you know, it's a crazy experience. That's all it is.
Erica, I assume you were with these two guys as well. What did you see from your perspective?
I couldn't really see just because of all the people, but just the gunshot sound. We didn't think it was a gunshot at first. Everybody kind of stood there for a second and then hit the ground, and we all just ran out.
I can only imagine that feeling when everyone starts to run and panic. Can you describe what you did next after the shots?
I just ran. He grabbed my hand. I was just getting dragged, basically. I was pretty in shock, and so we ran through the water of the fountain just trying to get out of there as fast as possible.
Tell me why you had come to his event and why you wanted to hear Charlie speak today.
I just see him on social media and stuff. I like what he has to say, and I was excited to see the debate and hear more of what he has to say.
Yeah. We hear about political violence, Chris, and I mean, you don't think of it happening here. You don't think of it happening where you are, but yet here we are. How have you been processing the aftermath of this news?
To be honest, it's crazy to me because I wasn't even like that shocked in the moment. I was kind of like, did this really just happen? You know what I mean? I wasn't like frantic or anything. I just got out of there safety quickly, but it was a crazy experience. I don't know why or how this happened, but it's Utah. I feel like this is pretty nice local neighborhood state, you know what I mean? So I think that would more happen in other states, you know, a little bit more violent, but it's tragic that it happened here.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and it's actually wild that this is happening. Like, I don't even know how to describe it, but yeah.
I think that's probably why it happened there, because nobody was going to be as suspecting of it because it's such a nice place. And so they let their guard down. We can't afford to let our guard down when we have so much radicalized political violence taking place in our country. Everybody has to have their guard up, whether you're in a nice neighborhood or not. And that is a suck-ass way to have to live. But it is where we're at right now. It is where we're at. And I truly pray for Charlie. I pray that he survives this. I pray that the doctors know exactly what to do to save him. And I pray that this does not stop him from doing his great work, because this is truly his purpose and his calling in life. And he is way too young to be stopped at this point. He is way too young.
I can't believe that I was actually part of something like that. But you hear about it, but you're like, is this actually going to happen? Like, to me one day. And then we were actually talking about it right before this, like, oh, the craziest part is like there was no checkpoints, nothing to get in here. Everyone was just able to walk in here. I'm like, I have my backpack. I'm like, if I wanted to, I could just bring a gun with me. But like, I'm like, this is just crazy that everyone was just allowed in here and just with anything you could have in your backpack. And so I was like, and so there was no checkpoints, nothing. I just wish there was like some kind of checkpoints or something to at least check people, because if that was true, this probably wouldn't have happened. But I guess legislatively or by law, you can't have like checkpoints at some public schools. So I don't know how that works, but it's actually wild.
Had you seen a law enforcement presence generally around?
There was law enforcement presently around, but like the immediate response, I was like, is everyone like why are we not running more? Like, why is everybody sticking around? I was like, let's get the hell out of here. And I don't know. I just thought it was crazy. There was people there, but it didn't really. Everybody kind of just didn't know what was going on at the moment. They were just sitting there like watching it. Like, oh, did he really? I'm like, yo, dude, he got shot, dude. Get out of here now, dude. Like, what are you doing here? Yeah.
and I heard you on the phone earlier sharing, I don't know if you were with family or friends talking, but I imagine you've probably got a lot of people hitting you up to make sure you're okay.
Yeah. No, totally. All my friends are like, oh, dude, are you okay? Were you there? Like, what's going on? I'm like, yeah, dude, it was crazy. I'm good. Like, don't worry about it. Like, I'm fine. But it was wild what happened. I saw him get shot, and I just immediately, we got out of there, bolted out of there. Cops are good now. I mean, they evacuated everybody, which is great. But it's just surreal, really, being in the moment, because you're like, this could never happen to me until it does, you know.
And I think it's surreal, and I think many would say it's sad that at an event where you come to hear political speech that this type of thing happens.
Yeah, it's crazy, because Charlie Kirk, I love the man. He's a great guy, and I don't know why anybody would feel a certain type of way to shoot him. It's just a debater, like, who cares? You're just a debater. Like, you're not doing anything or harming anyone, so why shoot anybody? Like, let's just talk. If we're gonna be in this environment, let's just talk about stuff. You know, I don't know why we have to become violent about it. So I don't know. It's kind of crazy to me, but yeah.
Isaac, Chris, Erica, thank you very much for making a few minutes. Glad you're okay.
No,
Thanks for. I will let you on your way now. Appreciate it, guys. So yeah, obviously these were some tense moments for those students that were here, and now we're going to show you here with some law enforcement walking by. With weapons with them here on the west side of the UVU campus. Lots of law enforcement. I mean, where we are, I see law enforcement from Provo, from Orem, from UVU. We've been told the FBI is here. We've been told that other federal agents are here, and it's quite a scene. I mean, I've not seen anything like this. Certainly, I'm from here, grew up a couple miles to the east, and have not seen anything like that here, certainly at UVU or in this area. But you heard those witnesses here. I have one more individual who wanted to share a little bit more about what they saw. Tell me your name.
I'm Wesley.
Wesley, tell me what you noticed. You were inside there for this.
Yeah, so where I was at the line, I guess this side to the right of him, and I was just there to ask a question. I was there with a lot of my friends, just having a good time. We saw one person question him, just seemed business as usual. And then when the second person came up, he asked an interesting question about whether transgenders are disproportionately represented as mass shooters. And then I heard the shot, I looked over, I saw what I thought was smoke, and then I got out of there. And yeah, I think it's really interesting that the person asking the question was asking about shootings right as the shooting happened.
A tense moment. What did you do in the aftermath? Because I know everybody started to run.
Yes. Well, I mean, there was too much of a crowd, to sprint, because, it's a big crowd. So I just act calm. I walked out in that underpass at the pace I could. And then the police, first they said they wanted to interview me, and then as things took a while, they were just like, hey, just give me your number. And then sent me on my way. So
pretty.
Yeah, it was.
Well, Wesley, thank you very much. Get your thoughts there. So we've heard from a number now of witnesses that me and others that have interviewed of people that were inside there, or I should say outside because it is an outdoor venue, when the shots.
I am going to say that from the small amount of blood that they are showing there, I'm going to say that I feel like it didn't actually hit his jugular vein, which is good, which is a very good thing. And hopefully it didn't hit anything else major within him. And they are able to save him. Because, when you hit your jugular, you're going to bleed out really, really fast. Because it's a main artery. And I feel like there would have been a whole lot more blood there if that's, in fact, where they hit. So I'm really hoping for him that I'm correct on that. And that this will be something that they can save him from and he can recover relatively quickly from as well.
Yeah, pretty incredible scene out here as far as talking to students. But let me give you a little idea as to where we're at here. Many of you, of course, know where the UCCU Center is at. We're just north of it right here. You can see all the traffic here. People trying to get out of this location. Traffic completely backed up. A lot of cops, a lot of officers from a variety of different agencies.
And while this guy's talking and basically saying the same kind of stuff, I just want to give a shout out to my good friend Jen, who brought this to my attention within minutes of it happening. And I also want to give a shout out to my older son, Brandon, who also brought this to my attention to make sure that I knew. So kudos to both of you. I love you guys. Thank you for bringing this to me. I know that you knew that I would want to know. So I love you for that. And yeah, as soon as I found out, I logged off work and went straight on live so that I could bring this awareness to everybody in case you don't know. So I appreciate you greatly for tuning in with me here.
I feel bad for all these wonderful students and alumni that were present and had to see that. It's a tough thing to see, but obviously it's a very serious thing that we need to all be able to work through and work through together as a community and come together and really rally around Charlie and his family. Nobody should have to worry about their father or husband going out and doing the things that he loves, and that's a tough thing to see.
How many shots did you hear, and what happened right after he was hit? What was the mood of the crowd?
Yeah, one shot rang out. From what I hear, I don't know if anybody else heard different. One shot rang out and hit Charlie, struck Charlie, and I don't know if it's angels or good bystanders who jumped in and stopped more shots from coming, but I'm grateful that if somebody did, they deserve high praise. One shot hit Charlie, one shot rang out, lots of chaos, lots of panic. It's hard to stay cool, calm, and collected in those moments. And so, yeah.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Stick around for just a minute if you don't mind. Your name and just what you saw, where you were at, what you heard.
My name's Kaya Meek, and then we were just about 50 feet from the left of him. And then I just remember he was on his second conversation, and then that's when the shot came. And then we just saw his head jerk back and shoulder. And we immediately just turned and dropped to the ground, and then saw people start getting up and running. So we followed in with that, and were able to get to the apartment buildings and get in with a really kind girl that started driving us. And then
how scary was this? What was the mood there?
It was just really terrifying. I mean, I was kind of in shock, because I was like, no way that just happened, But I'm definitely very grateful that there's only one shot and stuff, or else I think that a lot more people could have been injured.
Okay, thank you very much. And where were you at, and what did you hear there in the scene?
Yeah, I was with Kaya, and we were just 50 to 100 feet to the left, and just heard a shot, and then just saw his head fly back, and he just slumped in his chair and saw blood coming down his shirt, and then this people just yelling, "Get down!" and then just see a flood of people going throughout these doors, so just ran and followed them.
Wow. We hear about school shootings or university shootings, those kind of things. To actually be in there when it's happening, your thoughts about that?
I mean, you just never expect it to happen. You're just going to this event. You're not expecting anything to happen. So it's definitely shocking when something happens like that.
Tell me about why Charlie Kirk? What was it about? You wanted to go hear him, or what happened there?
He's on social media. I've seen a lot of him do a lot of debates. We just thought it'd be cool to come see him debate a couple people.
Okay, thank you very much. And share with us where you were at and kind of what you saw.
Yeah, I was about 50 feet to his right. And I want to say that, he only got 1.5 questions in. The first question, he was very graceful when confronted about comparing Mormons to Protestant. And then the next question, right before he got shot, was asking about transgender mass shooters and the DOJ wanting to take their guns. And then he got a few words in, and then I heard that one shot rang out, and then he fell over to his left, and everybody panicked.
Okay. Man, thank you guys very much. I appreciate that. And boy, what a traumatic experience for all of these students here. Again, we're on the north side there, the UCCU Event Center here. Again, let me just kind of show you just traffic right here. You can see traffic completely still back. Everybody's still trying to get out of this location here. But you heard the stories there, one after another. These are students that are just right there in the middle of it, and all of a sudden to have something like this happen right in front of them and witness something like this, just a very traumatic thing. But again, trying to get out of the north side here of the campus, boy, it is just a parking lot here. This, of course, happened, about 12:30, right around there, a little bit after, and still here we are with traffic just really congested and everybody trying to get out of this location. We'll go ahead and send it back to you guys, and we'll continue information out here and come back to you as soon as we have some more.
All right, Dan Rascon reporting live from the Utah Valley University campus there. And just to update you with the latest information that we've received, the AP reporting that Charlie Kirk is in a hospital in critical condition at this time.
The AP also reporting a few more details at the moment of impact. They described Charlie Kirk reaching up to grab his neck, right hand grabbing left side of the neck. There's quite a bit of blood. People describe it as very traumatic. He slumped to the floor, recoiled and slumped to the floor, and his security detail immediately assumed the scene. We have Jody Reynosa live on the campus of UVU. Jody, what can you tell us from where you're at?
Let me show you what I'm seeing here. You know, people keep mentioning the traffic as students, faculty, people try to get out and off of campus.
Okay, well, I'm not really as concerned about the traffic and all as I am about Charlie Kirk. And we just heard that he is in critical condition. I also want to just add an update here of my own that I happened to notice when I was doing a search to see about any kind of medical updates that there were on him, that someone in the last 13 minutes has had the presence of mind, for whatever reason, to update Charlie Kirk's Wikipedia to include the shooting. Now, I don't know who did this because, you know, a lot of people can do this on Wikipedia. They can update information. And I don't know who would think to, oh, I need to go to Wikipedia and add that to his list of things, right? It kind of strikes me as odd, honestly. But it's already been updated on his Wikipedia page. So I just want to share that with you as well. And again, I want to thank you for tuning in and watching this with me. And I hope that you will keep him and his family in your prayers and your thoughts, and all of the doctors and nurses involved who are working to save him. And I'll keep you updated. If I know anything further, I will be sure to let you know. And until then, I'm going to go ahead and close this out and get back to work. So thank you, and I hope you have a good rest.